Hello, guys, gals, and my non-binary pals. Welcome to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve broadcasting live on the Really American Media platform. You all have joined us just in time for our political week in review. Keep in mind, champions, this is all need-to-know news. News you need to know. It's been another wild boar of a week, oink oink. So hop to it, boys. Let's get this dumpster fire under control before we start our weekend.
Yes. Welcome to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Getting ready for our political weekend review here. Waiting for just a few folks to jump onto the show and join us as we are live. Here it is, 3 o'clock on the West Coast, and we're rip-roaring, roaring, and ready to go.
I don't think I'm either of those things, but that's fine. I feel bald today. Just got a haircut. I feel like my forehead's giant. What's going on there?
Maybe it's your lighting. It could be your lighting. I don't know. You don't look bald to me. So
I put the disco light on. I've got a multicolored light here. I can do anything, really.
Don't be so vain, Steve. We're here to give knowledge. We're here to give facts. We're here to give compassion. That's what it's all about. Part of the resistance, right?
Yeah, sure. Nick and I have been on the radio for like 30 years, so having a camera in my face is a whole new experience. So pardon me. Hey, what do you know? We have a website. It's thevocalminority.net. People do randomly email us through there, so feel free if you want to talk to us directly. We've got social medias, and then we are all over this mother effer known as Really American Media.
That is true. You can find us, Steve Harness, the man with a plan, doing a lot of the short form videos, along with some other great talent on the platform. So a lot of you are checking those out, but if you haven't been, you should check out some of those short form videos that so much effort is put into providing each and every day right here on this platform.
I appreciate all that. Yeah. Speaking of feeling bald and old, I'm sitting on a heating pad right now. I don't know if I'm supposed to expose these things to the world or not, but
I don't know that we needed to know that. Why? What happened?
I pinched a nerve in my back, but somebody asked me yesterday, how'd you do it? I said, well, I was trying to kickstart a dirt bike, which I was like, that sounds cool. Because last time I pinched the exact same nerve, I was making my bed, and that was not as cool.
Yeah.
So
it can always happen through a variety of things these days, from sneezes to, exactly. Quick movements. Who knows, dude? Yes. We're getting older.
Or watching the news can cause you to, get whiplash, pinch a nerve, have a stroke, have a heart attack. So
it can give you a panic attack, that's for sure. I mean, I don't know, dude. We've talked about this at length. We don't need to go into it, but I've been feeling extra anxious this week just with all the shit going on in this country. And here I'm trying to be the voice of reason. And, I don't know. I'm just being honest.
Okay. I don't know if we're here to be reasonable or just tell people what's going on. But, yeah, it is our, I guess it's week in review. It's a Thursday. We are live just after 3 o'clock on the West Coast, 6 o'clock on the East Coast. I'm traveling tomorrow to the hellhole of Chicago. So we're doing today's show a day early. So no more news can happen in the next 24 hours.
Are you, is your flak jacket packed?
Of course, yes. I brought several weapons. I've got a gas mask because I assume some ICE agent will be assaulting me. I want to say, hey, I'm a U.S. citizen. That'll never happen. But I just read some report, something like 160-something confirmed cases of U.S. citizens being arrested and or detained. And speaking of Chicago, we just saw I think he was a dad. He was like 67, thrown to the ground. He had multiple ribs cracked. And they threw tear gas on a children's Halloween parade.
It seems reasonable and prudent. Right. We're trying to get rapists and violent criminals off the street, Steve.
Yeah. Well, on that topic, too, I heard a thing recently from a bunch of FBI agents saying that, we should be working on real crime. You have us investigating left-leaning organizations and, running around the streets of D.C., helping the National Guard. Like, FBI used to actually look into real crimes, and that's going to bite us in the ass one of these days soon. There's going to be some bombing, some criminal that's going to slip under the radar because Kash Patel's got our people running around looking for Antifa under every rock in Portland.
How do we know it hasn't already happened, dude? Some of these things are, could be in the works, but just take a little time to present themselves. So
that's true. But thankfully, we caught the NBA, so I'm glad we got those guys busted.
Gosh, scuzz buckets. I mean, these are the people we really need to concentrate on. Those illegal bets that are happening. Come on.
Deport the NBA. That's what I say.
Yes.
So, all right. We got news? What's up? We got news?
Let's get into news.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Sorry, Paul Harvey. Your good old days of news are long gone.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Colorado checking in to say hello here. Portland, Oregon saying hello. What do we got? Minneapolis. That's good. Kentucky. Where's Ireland? Ireland's always checking in here. Ex-California, now in Iowa. Oh, Florida. Yeah, good.
I haven't seen the UK either. What's going on here? This is a Thursday. It's an off day for us, so.
That's true. All right. Well, all right, where to start? Let's start, as long as we're doing the shout-outs around the country and around planet Earth, President Trump has just been traveling abroad as well. Minnesota saying hello now. But anyone from Asia? I don't think we've had anyone in Asia say hello on the show yet. I know some are listening there. But.
Yeah, we have over time. Yeah, I remember some from Asia for sure. Oh, yeah, Deep South Texas checking in, Arizona, Southern Indiana. Wow, welcome to the show.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, so Trump was abroad this week, and I know we all saw some of the viral video of him wandering around, like an old man that he is, getting lost. But there was one story. Yeah.
I got to interrupt you. You want to hear my theory on that wandering?
Yeah, with the Japanese prime minister, I think it was.
Yeah, so the Japanese prime minister, she's a lady, and this is my theory, okay? Because, yes, he is wandering around. We've seen Trump get lost many times. But how many times have we seen Trump stand out and, like, cut lines in front of world leaders? I think this is a misogynistic thing, that, like, no woman's going to show me around. I think that's more of what it is. He was walking the room like he owned it, walking up and saluting random people. You know, I don't know if this is complete dementia.
So he's a Fleetwood Mac fan. He's going to go his own way.
I believe it.
I think you're giving him way too much credit. I think it is an old man thing that was just aimlessly wandering around, distracted by bright lights of the military he was saluting for no odd reason. Yeah. It's gracious of you to assume he has some master plan.
Yeah, either way, these are all just mistakes that he makes that are evil. Who knows?
Yeah, I think so. By the way, let's see. Rio de Janeiro checking in now. Tucson, Arizona. We got Brazil here.
Yeah.
Texas. Good stuff. So, yeah. So as Trump was going around the world here, embarrassing all of us, I just don't even know what to do with this. First of all, who was it? President Donald Trump was given a replica of a historic gold crown by South Korea's president. Now, is this the world understanding how to manipulate the hell out of our president, or are they just truly sucking up to him? Just as we threw the No Kings protest, someone literally gave this asshat a crown.
Of course it's sucking up, dude. It is so easy to attach on to Trump and get exactly what you want through flattery. We know that.
Yeah. Now, that's probably right. I'm waiting to see the picture because he's going to try that thing on one of these days and have his own actual crown. But I don't commend you, South Korean president. Do not enable this man. Don't give him a fucking crown. I mean, how pathetic is that? And how pathetic does it make us look as America that, give him a crown because we all know he really wants to be a king.
Yeah, it is. It is disgusting, but I don't know. I can't put it against them because, hey, I mean, they're just getting what they want. If we have a president of the United States of America that is that easy to influence, we deserve it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, he is his narcissism. Everyone knows how to bend and manipulate this guy, and it's kind of pathetic. I know that it might be them playing three-dimensional chess, but do you think Trump sees it at all? Does he just want the crown, or does he know he's being manipulated?
No, of course he doesn't know, dude. Of course he thinks that's a narcissist. He thinks he's so great that I think that he thinks, finally, somebody gets it. Somebody gets me. I'm wonderful. I am kingish.
Right. Gen Xter there was saying the crown was a troll. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't a real crown, I guess. It was a replica, but trolling has become so commonplace in our world. I just don't know where it begins and where it ends exactly. But it actually got even more juvenile and insulting from that point as far as manipulating Trump goes. Do you know that they essentially gave Trump a gold crown and a freaking Happy Meal? I mean, the equivalent of it.
What do you mean a Happy Meal?
Well, let's see. Officials ensured that Donald Trump's immature palate was catered to while he was visiting there with lavish meals during his visit to 3 Asian nations. So Trump sat down for fine dining in South Korea, Japan, and Malaysia this week as part of his 6-day tour. While each menu featured local delicacies, they were also paired with fast food staples, more associated with our good old American president.
Again, dude, of course. I mean, they know what he loves. It's like, they always say, like, the way to a man's, heart is through his stomach and his penis. Like, they know how to get to Trump, dude.
Yeah. I will tell you, I'm notorious in my family and with you as well. Like, I like my steak well done, okay? I know I'm killing the steak. It's already dead for the record, but everyone hates it that I like my steak well done. Well, several months back, my girlfriend Kennedy was making steak, and she asked me if I wanted ketchup with it, which I took very high offense to. And I know we're both from Michigan, and that's a little more common there, but it is such a juvenile thing to have ketchup with your steak, is it not?
Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, first of all, you don't eat a steak well done. We've discussed that.
Yeah.
I mean, but with ketchup, I mean, come on.
Yes.
No.
And by the way, I did not have it with ketchup. But the fact that she brought that up, I found very juvenile. But the preferences that they served to Donald Trump were mini beef, little sliders with ketchup. And they also did a ketchup glaze for him on grilled fish. Like a frickin' child, they made sure the ketchup was on as many of these fine dining things / fast food option as they could come up with.
And they say about ketchup is like you put ketchup on things a lot of times that you don't like. You don't like steak if you put ketchup on steak.
I mean, I guess. Listen, I haven't done that since I was 10, and I do love ketchup. I also notoriously put ketchup on my macaroni and cheese because of my Canadian, heritage. Well, I grew up in Michigan, which is very close to Canada. So that's where I got it.
You've always told me that, hey, I'm just making spaghetti. You also, I mean,
yes, does pasta never get paired with some sort of tomato sauce? You people are so narrow-minded.
Not ketchup, dude. Listen,
tomatoes.
You've come a long way in your life. I'll give you some credit, but you also have the palate of a freaking 10-year-old.
That is so not true. That is insulting. You're now comparing me to Trump. I do not have the palate of a 10-year-old because I put ketchup on mac and cheese. If I put it on my steak, you may have a point.
Okay. All right. Maybe you have the palate of a 15-year-old.
I don't think that's fair.
You're way too well-traveled to have the palate you do.
Because I like my steak not bloody and I put ketchup on select things, I'm a 15-year-old, huh?
15, 16.
All right. Well, listen, when I get elected president someday, a good thing I know that when I go to Asia, they will accommodate these needs. Because, so they basically gave the man a crown and a Happy Meal. That's how the world views our president. They know how to manipulate him, and they know that he has the palate of a 10-year-old.
Yes. Let's stick to the topic because you're exactly right. I mean, they are manipulating him with the crown and the McDonald's-esque food.
Thank you. And look at this genius here. Infinite Asylum. Mac and cheese with ketchup is yummy. I will assume that's a mature palate saying yummy.
Okay. Yes, it sounds like it might be. Yeah. No, it's funny to see how other countries are manipulating Trump. And, it's happening everywhere. We see it with Tim Apple. Remember when even people in our own country, Tim Apple, a.k.a. Tim Cook, came in and gave him like a golden medal. Like everyone is feeding to his ego to get what they want. And I don't recall a president other than Trump that was so easy manipulated. Like, you can buy my vote. I made that very, very clear. You want to come and eat at Mar-a-Lago for $100,000 or whatever? Yeah, maybe I will keep TikTok around.
He only ran as a Republican because their color is red, just like ketchup. That's a fact.
Possibly. It is a fact. Okay. I didn't know. We don't even need to fact check that.
Nope. That's a fact. So,
all right. Well, Do you want to hear something outrageous, Steve? Are you done?
I'm done. Something more outrageous than that story? How could it be?
Well, let's talk about this. JD Vance sat down with a reporter, and they were talking about animals and dogs. You know, this president doesn't have a dog, okay?
Which is weird, right?
Is weird,
No
right?
Pets?
Yeah.
Sign of a sociopath.
Yeah, we think that's really strange. So people have glommed onto the fact that JD Vance does have a dog, and it's a very well-trained dog, apparently, that he can just make certain commands and the dog will do different things.
And I'd be willing to bet if he makes a motion at that dog, it flinches. Because that's what happens when you beat your dog.
Yeah,
and we know JD yells at his children. He's admitted to that he screams obscenities at them. But I'm sure he's great with his dog. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. The lady asks him, do you ever use a shock collar on your dog to get him to do certain things? And he was like, no, I think that's very evil.
No electrocution of dogs here.
How disgusting is that? What does that tell you about a person?
Well, I think it tells you that they're bad people.
Yes.
If you can actually cause suffering to an innocent animal, you're probably the kind of person who doesn't worry about suffering in people as well.
Yeah.
And that's been my experience. If you mistreat dogs, that's almost 100% sign that you're going to be a really terrible person. So you can tell if somebody's really mean to animals, you know, it's like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Yeah.
Like every serial killer ever has actually been really bad to animals. That's sort of how they started.
I just kicked it. Yeah. This is like when Pam Bondi says nobody is above the law, with no awareness that Trump has, of course, broken multiple laws. Yes. And for JD Vance to say that nobody should be treating dogs poorly, why would that be weird?
Yeah, why would it be weird at all? I mean, I flashed to Christy Noem right away, and I was just like, all right, yeah, don't they love somebody who's really been the worst to dogs?
South Dakota Governor Christy Noem is responding to criticism after admitting to shooting and killing her young, happy, jubilant, joyful puppy, and then deciding to kill a goat after that.
And they're bragging about it.
Yes. Yeah. A funny story, too, real quick. Jonathan Carl, I think is his name, ABC reporter, just wrote a book. Bunch of anecdotal stories he's heard in the last 10 months behind Trump world. Apparently, Christy Noem got her job because Corey Lewandowski put a personal request into Trump for it. And a lot of people in Trump world, including Steve Bannon, freaked out, saying you can't put her in charge of Homeland Security. Like she's got no law enforcement background. What the hell are you doing? Apparently, it's because Lewandowski put in the request. And do you know why that is?
No.
Those two were bumping fuzzies. This has been a rumored thing for quite a while.
Really?
And it's becoming more and more mainstream. And I do believe that Noem is either currently married or was married through a lot of that. But yeah, that's been a big thing that those two are shacking up. And so he is to blame for us having freaking Ice Barbie in charge of Homeland Security. It's great.
Yeah, did we know? Was she already named head of Department of Homeland Security when we found out that she killed her dog and a goat?
No, that was after. And no one gets vetted in Trump world, so that wouldn't stop anything.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, we all knew that, and she still got the position. I just think it's so funny. It shows you not only the irony, but the hypocrisy that lives within the Republican Party at this stage. I think it's hysterical.
No, the whole point of the Jonathan Carl book is that nobody was vetted with any seriousness. Nobody has been given their positions because they are qualified even a little bit. Right. Trump in his first administration was a rookie, and he wanted to get 4-star generals and heads of industry. Like, he wanted qualified people because he felt that would balance it out. But a lot of those people, as we saw, didn't want to bend to his will. They ended up getting fired, writing books about how terrible he is. So this time, the only test is loyalty. Will you do anything I tell you to do? And so, I mean, that's his entire cabinet, as we're seeing with your Bondis and your Noems and everyone else that are just little yes men.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I guess it's no surprise at this point. Everyone who's been pushed through, from Kash Patel to Pete Hegseth, people jumped out and said, hey, Pete Hegseth has a drinking problem. He's got a lot of racist undertones. Doesn't matter. I mean, if you go back and look at what's Numbnuts, who's on the Supreme Court that drinks beers with Doofer.
Brett Kavanaugh?
Brett Kavanaugh. Like, when we went through that whole session of, like, asking him questions and trying to get him into the Supreme Court, at least there was some pushback and some fight of, like, are you serious? This guy's an idiot, man. He's allegedly raped women. He sounds like a drunk and everything else. But with this cabinet, all these people, no. I mean, it's just this is what it is.
Yeah. And speaking of Hegseth, another funny story in that book was that I forget who told, Trump, like they came into one of the cabinet rooms. They were like, hey, Pete Hegseth is here waiting. And the guy was like, I assume he's here to be, you're interviewing with Pete Hegseth. And Trump was like, no, I'm going to make him the head of the Department of Defense. And they were like, wait a minute, you're making the Fox News weekend host the head of defense? Like
Fox News guy. That's the Pete Hegseth? That's what you're really talking about, huh? That's funny.
So yeah, that's who's running our country. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, Christy Noem, she's a peach. I mean, she's been doing a wonderful job. I'm wondering if you're going to see any live action on the ground when you're in Chicago. Like you said, all kinds of Americans have been taken into custody. We had a lady in my hometown just recently. She took her daughter into a daycare center, and I showed up and wanted to take her, and ended up taking this lady, and she had to leave her daughter in daycare. They took her cell phone, everything else, and turns out she was a citizen. When you talk about people being hurt and arrested, and I don't even like to call it an arrest, right? Because we don't know where all these people are going and where they're going and for how long. But it is getting violent, dude. Let me show you this video of this senior citizen lady videotaping ICE. She's just trying to confirm what's going on. And ICE can't stand it, dude. They're pissed off and don't want anything to do with it.
Oh, dude. You can't take my
Takes her phone.
You cannot. Oh, that's illegal, sir. That's him. Hey! 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 Stop that Hey! You need to get off of her right now! Get off! Get the off her! You stole her phone! Hey!
Took her to the ground, dude. She's
Call
an old lady.
911! Someone call 911!
That is not taking someone to the ground. Law enforcement will do that to handcuff you, but he chucked her down a hill after stealing her phone, which is assault and robbery. Yeah. Wow. I mean, here's the problem. I see videos like this so often right now. It's truly hard to keep track of which one is new and has there been any consequences? I mean, I think one person in ICE world has been fired. The guy that slammed that crying mother to the ground in the hallway, I think in New York or whatever. But yeah, what the hell is that? Although at least she didn't get shot in the face with a pepper ball that they've been doing to other people as well.
Yeah, we saw it with the priest and thought, oh, wow, glad that was on film because people are outraged and they're going to let it be known. And it doesn't make a world of difference because, like you said, they're doing it to everybody now. So
yeah. And by the way, you can only take someone to the ground if you're lawfully detaining them and they're posing some sort of threat and you need to get the handcuffs on them. Like, you're not allowed to just start slamming people around, and you're definitely not allowed to just rip the phone out of their hands, especially in this world where we have the upheld by the Supreme Court. We can record law enforcement. Sorry, suckers, you're in public,
Yeah, it's part of it. We did a story a couple of days ago on the show talking about the requirements for ICE being lowered, the standards being lowered, not only physically, but mentally. Like, these guys aren't passing the same test that you normally would have to pass. So no wonder this shit is going on.
No, I mean, they used to actually vet people before they got to the ICE Academy or whatever it is. Now they're so desperate, they're taking anyone and everyone. And yeah, we were talking about that they can't pass the physical standards, which were insanely low. But there's clearly, and I'm not even joking here, there's clearly no intelligence test or critical thinking sort of test. I mean, this is what happens when you don't train people. You rile them all up, tell them to go get all the brown skinned people, and you send them out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the use of tear gas, the unnecessary force, no due process, no identification. I mean, all of this is insanity, and it is what happens when you have no training.
We're still dealing with these masked ICE agents, and I just read today that Bob Ferguson has, I think, sued Washington State to say, like, hey, no law enforcement can wear masks anymore. We have to be able to identify who you're with, because a lot of these guys just look like they're dressed up in cosplay,
Yeah, the problem is, California did that too. They passed a law that, no law enforcement can wear a mask, but that's a state law. These are federal agents. Homan already said, we're not following your rule. And what are you going to do? It's going to end up in court. And NBC, I forget his name now, but they have a legal analyst who's on there all the time, and he's a smart dude. And he said, like, this is not going to hold up in court. It's open and shut kind of case. State laws never trump federal laws. Federal agents do not have to follow a state law. And you could argue maybe it violates some federal laws, but who's going to prosecute that? Pam Bondi? Come on.
Right. Yeah. No.
Insane.
We're screwed, dude. We're screwed.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Speaking of potentially being screwed here, we've talked a lot in this show about the fact that Trump wants to play with everything that a president can. Whatever rules he wants to do, whatever tools he has in his tool belt, everything he wants to play with. And it was announced yesterday Trump wants to play with some nukes, because why not? What could go wrong there?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's a bad idea. We always thought when he was running the first time, we were like, that guy's going to have the button? That guy's going to have the button? That's crazy.
Yeah, now he just wants to play with the button. So, U.S. President Donald Trump ordered the U.S. military yesterday to immediately resume testing nuclear weapons, because we don't know if they work or not, after a gap of 33 years. And he tweeted this, too, by the way. Yeah, don't you think that would be some sort of closed-door conversation, not just posted to the world? But
you would think so, but he wants people to know. I mean, look, hey, we're testing our weapons. I think it's a mild threat just to say, like, just to remind people, hey, we do have these.
I mean, who doesn't know we have them? And I know Putin claims to have just tested some nuke that could travel around the world, nuclear-powered or whatever, but listen, everyone knows we've got them, and everyone knows they work. I know our infrastructure is falling apart in the nuclear world there, but I don't know that we need to start testing them. And a funny thing is, too, the reaction to Trump's announcement on testing was swift. Representative Dina Titus, a Democrat from Nevada, said that she'll be introducing legislation to put a stop to this. Do you know why somebody from Nevada might be freaking out about this?
Because I think they test him in Las Vegas, I think.
Yes, right on the Strip, as a matter of fact. Yes, but no, the main nuclear testing site is in Nevada, and it's only like 70 miles away from Las Vegas. It's underground, but still, I'm in Nevada, and I find it funny because this was kind of a purple state, but it went staunchly red, one of the swing states that voted for Trump, and this is a classic FAFO. Fuck around and find out. Like, we've got the Yucca Mountain nuclear depository down in southern Nevada as well, where a bunch of nuclear waste has been stored, and Nevada residents hate that thing. There was all sorts of things that went in place to stop putting nuclear waste there, and I don't even know where that's at anymore. But yeah, now Trump wants to start setting off some nukes. So I find it a little funny that red state Nevada is now going to get even more nuclear crap thrown into the silver state that they don't want, but sorry, you just voted for it.
Yeah. FAFO, like you said.
Right.
And what does testing mean, dude? I mean, how do you test something like a nuclear weapon? Honestly, I don't know.
It's like testing a firecracker. You just set a couple off. You're like, yep, those work. Okay, we're good. That's why I say, like, it's not like we don't know that they work. And if it's underground, it's not like the Russians are going to see the mushroom cloud.
What do you mean, though? You can't just light a little bit. Like if you set off a nuclear bomb, don't you just have to set off a nuclear bomb?
I don't know the correct answer to that. I don't think they're setting off a 50 megaton or whatever, like Hiroshima style. Like, it's got to be some smaller grade. Maybe, because I don't know how you could do it underground if they're setting off a full-on freaking, nuclear bomb. But either way, no one in Nevada wants it. But this is what you voted for, because King Trump wants to play with everything.
You're right, dude. We've talked about that for a long time on this show. He wants to try everything. And I mean, look, this is a president that is pushing lines. Everyone's been talking about President Trump and this third term, right? We've been joking around about 2028, Steve Bannon's a big proponent saying, oh, he's aware, he knows something is going to be happening. He wants to play with that. This is an interesting video, dude, of a reporter asking Mike Johnson about President Trump in his third term. I believe Mike Johnson is a constitutional lawyer. I believe. I could be wrong on that. He's a lawyer. But she asked him about, hey, is it true that he's going to be running for a third term?
Okay.
Well, there is the 22nd Amendment. It's been a great run. But I think the president knows, and he and I have talked about the constrictions of the Constitution, as much as so many of the American people lament that. The Trump 2028 cap is one of the most popular that's ever been produced, and he has a good time with that, trolling the Democrats whose hair is on fire about the very prospect. But I do believe that we've got 3 extraordinary years ahead of us, and the 2 years of the Trump administration are going to be an incredible thing. And I don't see a way to amend the Constitution because it takes about 10 years to do that, as you all know, to allow all the states to ratify what 2/3 of the House and 3/4 of the states would approve. So I don't see the path for that.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Us Dems, our hair's on fire because the president wants to openly destroy the Constitution and just stay in power. Why would we freak out about that? Yeah. If Obama was selling Obama 2016 hats, the MAGA would have just imploded.
Oh, completely, dude. You're 100% right. Yeah, well, our hair's on fire. This is a big freaking deal, dude. This is hysterical. You heard little Skippy Mikey Johnson talking about the fact that he's just trolling the Democrats. You know, he's enjoying trolling the Democrats. Well, a reporter asked Trump and said, hey, Mike Johnson said, you're just trolling. Are you serious about this? And this is what Trump had to say about it.
You know, based on what I read, I guess I'm not allowed to run. So we'll see what happens.
Johnson says you're trolling when you talk about a third term.
Well, I don't think he said that. I don't think he'd use that term, but
he did.
It's a very interesting thing. And I would say that if you read it, it's pretty clear I'm not allowed to run.
That's the first time I've really heard him talk like that.
Yeah, listen, of course it's very clear, but this is working under the premise that Trump would respect the Constitution, that he wouldn't try to overturn it or take it to the Supreme Court and hope for the best, stay in power in the meantime. But again, people, he's not going to be alive in 3 years, so I really would not worry about it. But of course, they're going to try if he somehow is alive. But I also think he's just screwing with the rest of the field. I think Steve Bannon is screwing with the rest of the field. Bannon doesn't like JD Vance or Marco Rubio. And if you keep dangling this Trump 2028 thing, nobody else can step forward and say they're going to be the heir to the crown.
That's interesting. You've made a lot of predictions on this show, and I would say that I don't know if I can say all of them have been right, but a lot of them have been correct. So I'm hoping, dude, the prediction you make about this, that Trump's not going to be around in 3 years, I am hoping for that to happen naturally. Secret Service.
Right. Yes, naturally. Yeah. Yes. And speaking of us being right or wrong, I am so sick of seeing this comment right here. Guys, it's nuclear, not nuclear. Just saying. Nuclear. Like, my balls don't need any more busting, all right?
How I'm saying it wrong? Nuclear?
Apparently we all, nuclear is not right. Nuclear. Like, come on. Let's not get into a George W. Bush thing here. I'm sorry if we're mispronouncing nuclear. Is it not like data and data? Like, is it not some sort of regional thing, or is there not acceptable pronunciations both ways? Like, listen, and I know you're going to freak out in the comments, but sorry.
Is it not like potato? Come on, leave us alone, dude. For crying out loud, you get the point,
right? Exactly. All right. Speaking of, we keep talking about the fact that do Republicans not understand that the precedents you're setting right now may in fact come back to bite you guys in the ass someday? Like all of these things, we are destroying norms. And when you destroy norms, then they are no longer there. We are redefining guardrails. And what's going to happen? Yes, if a Democrat gets in and decides to go crazy. So this topic keeps coming up for good reasons about Trump murdering people in the ocean because he's declared them to be terrorists and that we're supposed to be okay with that. Well, Representative Jim Himes, a Democrat from Connecticut, he's been going off on Trump for illegally striking the boats, merely suspected of being drug runners in the Pacific and the Caribbean. And he warned supporters that it is setting a dire precedent that they may not appreciate in the future. So he was just on MSNBC talking about the fact that 57 people now we know have been killed through this bombing boats. And he was talking about that there's been some closed-door meetings that only Republicans have been invited to, and that there is still no proof that any of these people are terrorists. But he brought up this point right here that I think all Republicans should freaking keep in mind.
And look, if Lindsey Graham and other Republicans want to go the route of saying it's okay to kill people illegally, just so long as the American public supports it, the American public needs to really think that through. There will be a Democratic president someday, and all my MAGA friends who are, cheering on these illegal killings need to imagine who gets killed when President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that it doesn't matter what the law says, she's going to do what she's going to do. So look, I work here, so I understand the complete abnegation of principle and a complete thumbing of the nose at the rule of law, but I would hope that people like Lindsey Graham might not go that path, because it's a very, very dangerous path for this country to go down.
Yeah. You think? I think maybe this whole what if Obama did it thing, maybe we should move on from that, because MAGA's like, well, Obama can't do it. What if AOC did it, MAGA? Would you still be okay with it?
I would happen to think that it set their hair on fire because, like you say, the pendulum always swings both ways, right? If this is going to come back around, you guys always forget that. And, the only thing that makes them probably feel a little bit better is that they know that we are a party of reason, so they know we're not going to do anything stupid like that. Because we're calling it out now. Yeah. But we will have the power to. I mean, if you're giving Trump this power, then we have it too, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, I do think that is what they're relying on, that they know deep down that a Democrat is not going to be batshit crazy like this and do something absurd. But you don't really know that. The future is unknown and it is unwritten. And you, A, don't know who's going to step up and be the next president, and you don't know what they're going to do when they get in there. And you have lost all moral high ground and now legal precedent to stop anyone from doing anything they want. So would you be okay if AOC did this? Obviously, the answer is no. And the pendulum thing is so accurate. Science is science. The political pendulum always swings back and forth both ways. Yeah. And we were talking a couple weeks ago about the fact that there's been 1,000% increase in threats against ICE agents. I just read a new report today. It is now actually up 8,000%. And they're like, boy, the crazy left. No, again, it's science. Like, if you turn the temperature up, things will boil over. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The question is not why is there an 8,000% spike from the left? It is what have you done to cause that chain reaction?
Yes, cause and effect, dude. That's exactly right.
Yes. So yeah, what if AOC did it? And I am still waiting for some dissent to put a stop to these freaking murders in the open waters, because it's insanity. You wouldn't put up with it with Obama or AOC or anyone else, but King Trump does it, you roll right over.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. You would think, when the first one happened, you brought it to the show. We broke that story here with Steve Harness, and I thought, oh, this has got to be a one-off. Like, they're going to
test the waters,
test the waters, do this, and just be like, oh, people didn't dig that. We got to stop that. We could get in a lot of trouble. We could be, this president of peace. He starts no new wars. I mean, this really does have the potential to start a new war, you freaking idiot.
Not to mention, is not the Republican Party always the pro-life party? Are they not always the all lives matter? Don't give me Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. Unless you're on a boat in the ocean, then we're allowed to just murder you. Please don't reference that against the Bible, okay?
Fishermen don't count, dude. I mean, come on. Let's get real, dude. We don't
in international waters. They're not really humans if they're out there. So.
Yeah. No,
yeah. And by the way, I was reading a story this week about a growing quiet movement in America of evangelicals quietly, because they don't want the backlash, canceling MAGA. That there are little backroom talks going on. Really? That they don't like what's happening with ICE. That some of them don't like that we're just murdering people. So it's cute that you're all quietly doing it, apparently, but why don't you get vocal? Why don't you try to spread that message around? Maybe some others will denounce him. And, it's the domino effect. We saw, I think it was 4 or 5 Republicans vote with the Democrats the other day to not allow some of these tariffs to go in place. Like, it takes a little bravery, elected Republicans, and so far there's a gigantic void of that.
You would think that the people you're talking about, those evangelicals, would know better than anyone that the Bible talks about the fact that if you don't denounce Satan, if you don't proclaim your love for God and denounce Satan, it doesn't matter, dude. You're going to hell. Like, right. I mean, so get out, denounce it. If you think it's wrong, you got to speak up, for crying out loud.
Did you see this UFC guy? I think Bryce Mitchell, I want to say is his name. Yeah. Huge religious guy. Like, he brings a Bible into the ring. There's pictures of him winning a fight. He's holding up the Bible. Said a year ago that he would take a bullet for Trump, that he's a great man. And he came out this week and just said, sorry, I got conned. Took me a while to figure it out. But not only is this man not trustworthy, he literally said he's the frickin' Antichrist.
Yeah, it's unbelievable because Bryce Mitchell is not only completely over religious in my opinion, but he's got a little crazy in him too. And I've seen him talk about some crazy shit, dude. And he was just licking the butt of Trump for so long. Yeah. And for him to make the turn, I mean, that gives me a little hope in humanity that if a crazy asshole can make the turn, then maybe other people can.
Is it better late than never? Like, yes. Do we give them a pass? Just come on over to the right side of history. Or do we, I don't know, is there some punishment?
I don't think there can be. I think in order to make it comfortable for those people to be embarrassed and say, like, I was conned, I made a mistake, I think we have to welcome them and say, all right, come on over. We can watch them out of the corner of our eye. Make sure
they get to at least do one video making fun of them, right? And then they can come on over?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And by the way, in that same press conference a year ago where he was saying he would take a bullet for Trump, someone asked him about Elon Musk, and he was like, oh, that guy's terrible. Mark my words. If you put that man in a position of power, his true character will come out. You will see that he does not give a shit about any of you. And he looked right at the reporter. And he was like, he could change your life, but he won't. He wants to play with rockets. He wants to colonize Mars. Mark my words, Elon Musk. We will all see his true colors. And like, hallelujah. Didn't take long, but that's exactly what happened.
Maybe he's the prophet, dude. Maybe maybe he is. We're all crazy. People are talking about, oh, this ballroom and the money this unnamed billionaire ponied up to pay the military and this government shutdown. If they would take all these funds, what they could actually do with them, they could feed the hungry, they could get vets off the street, they
could do anything else but building a golden ballroom in a White House that already had a ballroom. It just wasn't big enough for Trump. It only held 100 people. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So relatable.
Yeah. It's going to be very nice, Steve. Very nice.
Sure.
Hey, dude, here we live in a world of media, and we have figured out that the fact that there's fake news is just something we live with. I never heard that when I was a kid, like fake news, and Trump said it, and then he made it a real thing. And people on Fox News like Jesse Waters, all those pieces of crap that I talk about all the time are obviously giving us fake news. But you talk about people that are podcasting, not mainstream media per se.
New media. That's what it's called.
New media. That's right. We're getting a lot of fake news out of them as well. I will call it out every time it happens with Bro Rogan. Okay. Do you know who Maria Van Zeller is?
Can't say that I do.
She's a little hottie, and she has a show on Nat Geo where she does a lot of really cool news stories and has cameras follow her, and she's a great journalist, okay? Well, she's been on Rogan a few times. She was on Joe Rogan's podcast, I think on the 16th of October. They were having this conversation. Before I play this, I'm going to tell you that this is false, fake news from Joe Rogan once again, because I don't want anyone to hear it and think it might be serious. But
yeah,
look at how seriously he says this and how unwilling he is to back down.
I don't know if you know this, but Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who was running for vice president, he just passed.
You also had him on, right?
No, I did not. They just passed something in Minnesota where illegal immigrants are allowed to have driver's licenses and vote, which is kind of crazy. Because
are you sure?
Yes,
that they're allowed to vote?
Yes, just yesterday.
Illegal immigrants, as in they don't even have a green card.
As in not supposed to be here,
and they're
can
allowed
have
to vote
driver's licenses and can vote.
Wow.
Let's find out. This is the story that I read.
You should have found out before you said it on your podcast, you asshole.
Yes.
I fact-checked this. Obviously, I already knew the answer, but I wanted to have facts, right?
Yeah.
Driver's licenses? Yeah, they can have driver's licenses. That was passed because, well, people need to be able to work and eat so they don't suck the teat of the government. It's a good thing.
Same in California, yeah.
Vote? Are you kidding me?
Of course not.
Why for a second would you ever believe that and talk about it as if it's fact?
Because it feels true, and they want it to be true, and it fits their narrative.
It's unbelievable, dude. And, Joe Rogan's got a huge thing against Tim Walz. He's done fake news and unfact-checked stories several times with Tim Walz. I understand you hate the guy and don't like him, but
because he's such a hateable guy. He's one of the nicest Mr. Rogers feel, come on.
Yes. I don't know why.
He did that whole thing where there was a clearly AI fake video of Tim Walz dancing down an escalator to the Pussycat Dolls with a "fuck Trump" shirt on. And Rogan's just like, look at this. And his producer was like, dude, that's fake. It's fake. He's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, they had to fact check the man live, during his podcast. And, listen, I'm obviously a fan of new media. We're part of it. Nick and I come from the world of traditional broadcast media. We were broadcasting before there was podcasting. And now we've come over to this world because that is where media is going. It's where the audience is going. And there is more freedom over here, but that's also part of the problem. When we worked for radio stations, they were owned by big companies. Even when I owned the radio station, I still had financial obligations where I couldn't just let everyone do whatever they wanted. Sure. There were some boundaries. There was some accountability there, but there isn't in the podcast world. I know Rogan may have a Spotify contract, but he works for himself and he does as he pleases. And all of the new media people need to understand that you are now the media and you do have a responsibility. Rogan's got millions of listeners. You're not just a bro in your basement doing some podcasts like in the old days where no one was watching and no one gave a crap. Joe Rogan, for better or worse, is one of, if not, certainly top 3 media personalities out there. And he has no appreciation of that.
He helped Trump get elected, dude, for crying out loud. You do have a responsibility. I look at this in a very similar way that I do the ICE agents, okay? Like, we worked for big media before, so we kind of understood and know, like, you can't just say anything. You got to say things that are correct. But some of these people that are coming out in podcasting, I understand, are just these ICE agents. Like you said, you're not in a basement. You're not just hanging out with bros. You are influencing millions of people in this country, and you are constantly. I mean, we catch Joe Rogan coming to the air with bullshit all the time.
Yes, absolutely. I know you remember the War of the Worlds, that old radio drama.
Sure.
I mean, this was a famous thing, if anyone is too young and doesn't remember it. But, this is way back in the old days of radio where they did a radio drama that aliens were invading planet Earth. And half the audience, of course, understood that it was a radio drama. But half of them, just because it was said on the radio, they took that as fact. The guy on the radio said it. Aliens are invading, and panic ensued. And it's the same thing with podcasting. People develop a relationship, a connection to Joe Rogan or a Howard Stern or Tucker Carlson. Like, it doesn't matter. If you have the platform, if you have the microphone, a certain percentage will believe anything you say. And if you're mega, it's probably a much higher percentage because you're all gullible sheep.
Yes. Yeah. If you are seeing the guy on the screen and you're like, I can trust that dude. I like him a lot. You're not going to go fact check this stuff. Let's just be clear. I hope that whatever Steve and I say on this podcast, that if you feel a little odd about it, that you'll go fact check it, dude. I'm not too good to be fact checked. Right. And you should be doing it with everybody, really.
Yes. And if you do screw up, you should come on and amend the statement, issue a retraction. I got it wrong. Yep. But again, that's another example of somebody live during Rogan's show saying, are you sure about this? Because that does not sound right. Yes. Oh, I'm sure. I am sure because I'm just sure. I know I did not fact check it because I would have immediately seen that it's not true.
Let's find out. It's an article I read. No, you should have found out before you brought it to broadcast, dude. That's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. But hey, Mega World likes to make stuff up, and their exalted leader, Emperor Trump, just keeps making up stories. And there's this new thread that's going on out there. Two things. One, the Sir stories. Sir, I got a call. Someone said, sir, this sir. Whenever he says that, the word sir, someone called me and said, sir, he is fucking lying, okay?
Yes.
Same tell he also have, I've realized, when he says, you know this. All of you know this, right? You know that's true. When he says that, he is fucking lying. And this whole sir story thread, he's got this new thing with the tariffs that he has now done, I think, 3 different times. And I believe this is actually one from a few weeks ago, but he keeps repeating the same story. And of course, the monetary amount keeps changing. It was $29 billion. Now I believe in this one, it's $31 billion. But let me just play this for you.
And last week, as you know, they found $31 billion. They came to see me, sir. We found $31 billion. They said, we don't know why. I said, was this a good find or a bad find? It was a good find. It was a plus 31. We're used to finding negative 31s, right, for the last 30 years. I said, check the tariff shelf. Well, those tariffs haven't kicked in. Yes, they did. They kicked in 2 months ago. Check it. He comes back 2 hours later. Sir, you were right. We have an additional $31 billion, billion, not million, Lindsay, billion, that we just found from tariffs. They kicked in earlier than we thought. You were right.
Okay, first of all, he makes his people around him sound like total morons. So, how do these tariffs work?
Yes. And he's told that story, like you said, several times, and the figure keeps changing, dude.
And he just did it on this Asia tour, which is why I'm bringing it up. And I think that was actually the version 2 from a few weeks ago.
Yes. Somebody else said in the chat, and I was going to say this as well, you also know one of his other tells he's lying is like tears in his eyes. They had tears in their eyes. You know, sir, they have tears in their eyes. His new one that I'm hearing all the time, if you think about it, you know, and it's really good if you actually think about it. You know, like, are you thinking about it? Because it doesn't seem like you are.
I would love to play poker with that man because he has so many tells.
Yes.
And someone in this article interviewed University of Michigan, go Wolverines, economics professor Justin Wolfers. And his quote was, I'm not aware of anyone who is surprised by the reality that new taxes raise new tax revenue.
Unbelievable, dude.
Like, yeah, Trump keeps all these trillions of dollars. Like, yeah, you put a new tax on American consumers and American companies. So I'm not surprised that you're making money, but that doesn't make it okay. And this crazy notion that he just gets a call as if, like, what, on the golden White House phone? Like, what's that? Oh, sir, we found some money. We found $31 billion, as if there's $31 billion. Go check the tariff shelf. And then they come back, sir, you're right, sir. Hey, what do you know? We found $31 billion.
It was on the tariff shelf. We didn't even know to look there, sir.
No.
Absolutely nuts, dude.
Exactly.
Absolutely nuts. Hey, dude, did you hear about the 2 federal prosecutors from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington that were placed on administrative leave by the Justice Department?
Because they told the truth? Those guys?
Yeah, the action came shortly after they filed a sentencing memorandum describing January 6 defendants, including Taylor Toronto, a Trump supporter, as a mob of rioters who breached the Capitol. These 2 yahoos, or not the 2 prosecutors, are doing the right thing. This guy had a bunch of guns around the home of Obama. And he was being charged for this, correct?
And do you know why he was at Obama's house with those weapons?
Well, what? He wanted to kill him.
Well, he knew where Obama lived because Trump doxed Obama.
Yeah.
He publicly tweeted Obama's address, which was also included in that DOJ thing, that now that those two lawyers have been fired or suspended or whatever, the DOJ revised that. They took off the references to J6, but they also removed the fact that Trump doxed Obama, and that's how this guy even found him.
That's unbelievable that we would have a president that would dox a former president.
Yeah. And now his DOJ is just trying to whitewash it all, as if you delete it, it just doesn't exist anymore, which they're doing with government websites too. They're just trying to delete stuff, and they think there's no one knows the real story.
Yeah, well, they've been placed on leave for doing their job, like you said, and they haven't been told why or for how long. I mean, obviously, they know why, what's behind this. They brought up January 6th in the filings, and DOJ said, nope, can't do that. You're on administrative leave. So it just goes to show, like, hey, this is, when we talk about not having free speech, this is the lowest level of free speech, being able to tell the truth and be able to enforce the law. Right. And put people behind bars for crimes committed. Can't even say those anymore, dude.
No, and there's all sorts of great audio out there of in the days and weeks after the J6 riot of Lindsey Graham's and Ted Cruz's calling these people rioters or domestic terrorists, or like way harsher than what these lawyers put in there, just as a statement of fact.
Yeah.
But no, you cannot speak truth to King Trump. The emperor has no clothes, and he does not want that to be, he doesn't want that to ever change. No accountability.
Yeah. That is, I can't get past the fact that our sitting president doxed a former president.
Yeah. And here's another good one, Jeffrey. My uncle was at MIT. That whole story. Trump just fully told the story about his uncle being at MIT and Ted Kaczynski was there. Like, none of it's true. It's just not even true at all. Even when Trump's grandfather or whatever was a professor, Kaczynski would have been like 7 or something. Like, it's just, he just lies. Yes. And like we were saying with the War of the Worlds thing, like just his people, he said it.
Yes.
And in fairness, the president used to be a reliable source. If a president said something, you could cite that as a source.
Yeah.
That ship has long sailed and just got blown up by Hexeth.
Hey, Steve, I got to get to this before the show's over, and we're winding down on time here. Do you know a guy by the name of Larry Bushart?
No. Sounds like a porn star.
Oh, Bushart. You're horny, dude. It's getting close to the weekend. Larry Bushart, 61 years old, a former police officer from Lexington, Tennessee, was arrested September 22nd, 2025. He was charged with making threats of mass violence following a series of social media posts related to conservative commentator Charlie Kirk. Bushart shared several images described as hate memes about Charlie Kirk on a Perry County community Facebook group, including one meme quoting former President Trump connected to a 2024 school shooting. Basically, the meme was Trump saying, we got to get over this. He shared that. This man, Larry Bushart, 61, who is a liberal, has been taken into custody and arrested. He is still in jail, no bail, and I don't think he has another hearing coming up until mid-December. But the police chief said, look, this is Charlie Kirk we're talking about here. You can't make these kind of threatening memes. And they arrested the guy.
Just like they arrested everyone that made fun of Paul Pelosi's hammer attack, right?
Yeah.
Did I miss that? Right. They arrested all of those Republicans saying that stuff, including Don Jr., right?
Yeah. The concerns arose because the posts were made during the organization's visual plan for Charlie Kirk in Linden, Tennessee. Bushart's bail has now been set at $2 million for posting this meme of President Trump saying, we need to get over it.
Wow. Where's the ACLU? I mean, is someone fighting for this guy?
It says that his own attorney is actively pursuing bond reduction so he can actually get out and get back to life a little bit, and some sort of case resolution options here. But nothing is happening yet. Yeah, I mean, where is the ACLU? Why is no one standing up saying he posted a meme that our president posted about a school shooting? But no, don't do it to Charlie Kirk, dude. That's
insane.
Crazy.
Insane. And I know I was saying earlier, I'm in Nevada. There's a new government building being built in Lyons County, Nevada, and they just named the thing the Charles Kirk, government facility. And a lot of people are correctly freaking out, but all sorts of Nevadans just freaking love that thing. So if they're going to start testing nuclear weapons in Nevada, I have a recommendation on where they should start. When the building's empty, obviously.
That's not a bad idea. Speaking of Charlie Kirk, did you hear the fantastic news, dude, that the alternative Turning Point USA halftime show has been officially canceled?
I did not.
Yes,
another prediction I think I have made that has come true. I told you no one's going to want to tie themselves to that anchor.
You know who didn't want to tie themselves to it?
Anyone?
Young MAGAs, young maggots. They were like, Kid Rock, Ted Nugent, Creed? We don't want anything to do with this. They shut it down, and the only people they could get to keep commenting in a positive way on this event was bots. So they were like, bots aren't going to watch it. We better cancel it. So,
well, amen. I had not heard that, and that makes total sense. No one wants to do career suicide and go up against the biggest event literally every year. And I never heard Kid Rock saying, like, I'll do it. No one stepped up to say that.
No. Yeah. Ted Nugent and Kid Rock, I think people thought, they'll be there for sure. But
they were the only choice. But yeah.
They never got Creed. They were still trying to, lure them in with money. No. But yeah, it's not going to happen.
So. In fairness, Laura Trump did say that she would perform at the halftime with her Tom Petty covers and stuff. So
yeah. Well,
but I don't think that was going to attract much. So.
No.
All right. Good stuff.
Yep, that'll wrap it up, ladies and gents. Thanks for joining the podcast. We've got all the social medias. You know where to find us right here on the Really American platform. Thanks for chatting along and enjoying the show today. And have a good weekend, because we won't be back until next Tuesday.
Yep, be back Tuesday. TheVocalMinority.net if you want to reach out to us. Otherwise, find our socials. And yeah, everything Really American. Go check it out.
All right.
This has been another production of The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Don't forget to check out all the social media, as the boys are on most platforms. Thanks for being part of the resistance, part of the pushback. Champions all around. Good day.
And we say bye-bye.